You may have heard people recently talking about starting seeds for their fall garden or planting their fall garden, and you're thinking, what is a fall garden? Especially here up in Canada and Alberta, where sometimes we get a week of fall. Today, I just wanted to give a quick intro and give you a couple of tips so you can have a successful fall garden this year. To me, a fall garden is planting appropriate crops, things that like to grow in the cooler weather, and they actually get a little bit sweeter as you get a couple of frosts. So we want these things to be maturing into the fall. We actually want them to be mature once those frost hits, but they're still going to stay in the ground. These are basically things that we call cool weather crops. So for me, my main fall crops are my brassicas, broccoli, cabbages, that kind of thing, Brussels sprouts. Also root vegetables. We grow a lot of root vegetables into the fall because they can handle those cool temperatures. They get a little bit sweeter. And also, even after you have some frost, you can cover them and kind of store them in the ground. And then also greens. Greens do really well with those cool temperatures, and they're actually really quick to grow. So we're going to be planting some of those as well. The one thing kind of exception to my rule for cool weather crops is peas. Now peas do like the cool weather, but peas grow from a flower and they're actually the mature fruit from the flower. Whereas things like greens, we're eating the leaves. Roots, we're eating the roots. Brassicas, even though we're eating kind of like a broccoli is the broccoli flower, it's the immature flower, so it'll be done a little sooner. Well, I probably still plant some peas. I don't really consider them my fall garden. Now, the timing of our fall garden is going to be a little different for everybody, and again, it is kind of a risk, just like our spring garden if we get an early frost. But for me, it's worth the risk. 99% of the time, you're getting some extra crops, and you're getting some really good crops that are going to store for long over the winter time. Which for up here in Zone 3, a cold season, a lot of our stuff we have to think about storing. To find out when I need to start things, I'm going to look for my average first frost date in the fall. A quick Google search will tell you this, and then you're going to count backwards. I used to kind of just count backwards on my calendar, but then I read somewhere about getting a countdown app, so I just downloaded one of those free countdown apps. My average first frost is September 16th, so I just put the date of September 16th in my countdown app, listing it as first frost, and then it'll tell me exactly how many days I have left. So when I'm looking for what I'm going to start, I'm going to start things that are going to mature within that time frame. And I also like to give a little bit of extra time because you have to germinate them, as well as the days are getting shorter. We're past the solstice, so things might grow a little bit slower. If I have about 80 days left, I'm not going to grow a cabbage that takes 100 days. I'm going to look for the cabbages that take 60 to 70 days. For my brassicas, broccoli, cabbage, I'm actually going to start these in my greenhouse and get a little bit of a head start on them. My root vegetables and my greens, I'm going to plant them directly in the ground. Another thing to take into consideration is that because we are growing these in a hotter time of year and they like cool temperatures, I usually try to find a bit of a shadier area, or you can throw some shade cloth up. But the other really important thing is that these are going to need more water than your more mature plants. So you're going to need to make sure that you are watering these, especially if you planted seeds in the ground, a little more frequently. You're going to need to be watering a little more often than some of your more mature plants. Today, I'm going to be starting my cabbage, broccoli. I'll try some more cauliflower, although I never seem to be successful with it, and Brussels sprouts. I'm going to start those in my greenhouse in some trays because the brassica varieties I have take around 60 to 70 days. My root vegetables and my greens, a lot of them are only going to be taking 30 to 40 days, so I'm not going to be planting them right away yet. One last thing I want to note is that even though my average first frost is September 16th, again, it could be a little bit later or earlier, that if you have mature plants when those frosts hit, a lot of times they will make it through and it won't even harm them. Some things like carrots and Brussels sprouts, you actually want them to have a couple of light frosts because again, that's what gives them that little bit of a sweeter flavor. It actually has to do with them putting out sugars more because they want to keep themselves from freezing, like their homemade antifreeze. And so September 16th, if that frost hits, they won't actually die. They can keep growing even a few weeks after until things really get cold. And you can even extend the season if you get a few of those row covers, the frost protection. You can get an extra month past those first frosts. If you have a little bit of extra space in your garden or you know you're going to be pulling some things out, go ahead and get some of these started. Get the ground ready because there's still so much you can grow into the fall, and being up here in a short season, cold climate, we really need to take advantage of everything that we can. And if you're not sure about cool weather, warm weather crops, I did a video about that. Check it out here. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye.